Welcome back to PCA's Garage. We have some PCA members here, but also industry experts with us here today. Roger Burdette from Track Gear, Alan Friedman, father of club racing. So most of you that are into HPDE as well as club racing, getting ready for the season, you're probably dusting off your tools, your helmets, checking brakes, so on and so forth, and probably spending some money to prepare your car for an exciting season. But oftentimes we forget to prepare to protect probably the most important part of your HPDE rig or your club racing rig, and that's actually yourself. But today what we want to do is we want to share with you a safety item for yourself that's sort of new technology in the safety gear arena. And so first let me go to Alan. Alan, how important was it for you to include safety gear in the HPDE programs you participated early on and today, as well as in the club racing scene?
Years ago, when I was heavily involved in HPDE, what you found is that there were different regions had different minimum requirements, and usually it came down to having long sleeve clothing and comfortable driving shoes, comfortable shoes, and a helmet to some Snell standard. And then of course when we created club racing, we looked at safety standards of a number of different racing organizations in order to pull from that to set our standards for suits and helmets and that sort of thing.
So would you say you've been around a lot of drivers, those that don't wear safety gear, would you agree with me, most of them don't wear it because it's uncomfortable?
I think that's part of it. I think generally people will wear what they're required to wear. That's obviously the first thing, and you know, a lot of the driving suits. If you immediately opt to go for a driving suit, you put on something that's going to make you pretty hot most of the time. And so if you're in an HPDE environment, and it's 90 degrees and you're out at Summit Point or whatever, it's hot. So you're going to be very uncomfortable with that. So you'll think to yourself, well, maybe I really don't need that level of protection for HPDE. Maybe I went too far.
Yeah.
In the racing world, you don't have, you know, usually you have less individual choice as to the minimum that you wear.
Well, let's talk about the choices that people typically make, and it might be wrong, and I'll probably say I'm guilty of it too. In the last couple of years, there's been a lot of performance enhancement and materials in athletic wear, and so, you know, again, searching for that comfortable shirt, I would say most drivers will grab like a Under Armour type of shirt that's moisture wicking, that has the properties that they think will make them comfortable, or they're gonna grab that free t-shirt that they got at the last PCA event and throw those on. Share with me why that might not be the best idea.
Well, of course everybody's after performance, especially that type of performance when it's hot. I mean, it's like Alan said, it's in the 90s, we're on a blacktop road, and it's extremely hot, and you're looking for comfort. That's their aim. And if you look at those type of athletic shirts, they're great for that comfort aspect. But when you look at polyester as a material or cotton as a material, cotton is highly flammable. Once it catches, it goes. You have to physically put it out. Polyester melts immediately under flame or heat transfer or any kind of heat. So the things we really want to wear under the suit or an HPD case or as an outside garment are okay as far as the comfort aspect goes, but they're unsafe, you know, in case you do get into a predicament, which is remote, but it does happen. So starting Track Gear, I needed that kind of data. You know, what are guys looking for? What are the key elements of a shirt or a suit or any kind of safety gear in the car? And you guys hit it on the head. It's comfort. What I did, I reached out to different forums and PCA members and got a lot of data back. And I looked at three key data points. Number one being safety, which I thought that would be the big deal. Number two being comfort, and number three being fashion. You know, how important is it for us to look good on the track? And
I checked the fashion.
I got the fashion. So it was really surprising for me. You know, overwhelmingly, guys were leaning on the comfort part of it. That was number one by far. Number two, even more surprising for me, fashion. Fashion was actually above safety as far as their desirability of garments to wear in the car. And thirdly, they loved having the aspect of safety, but that was kind of like a bonus.
If I, just take helmets, for example, again, probably the first thing when we try on the helmets is for comfort. And then what do we do when we try it on? The next thing we do is we go look in the mirror and see how good we look in them. So yeah, I could see, being, looking good being number two. And then the whole safety thing, that's like you said, we're buying a helmet, so we assume that's going to protect our noggin. And, the more safety benefits you have, it's like the extra, the gimme.
Right.
So with, like, for example, this jacket here, and now the products that you provide are actually kind of underliners or undergarments for suits like this. It's not a replacement for the suit. It enhances your comfort. It adds to a level of protection to the whole system. How is that system measured, and who approves it?
Well, we use SFI Foundation. I find them to be the best as far as certification goes because their technology is quite better than others, in my opinion. And SFI, for our garments, we use a 3.3 certification. And here's a really key thing. When I first started the company, we were looking at different materials. I was really seeking to have that comfort need met. And I found some materials that felt really light and comfortable, and they were FR certified for the military with a different certification. So I took that material and I'm like, okay, I was excited. This is really good. Nobody has this stuff. I go up to SFI with it, create my samples, and it failed. So SFI really takes things to a different degree. A lot of things don't measure a thing called TPP. It's the thermal protection properties of the garment. And SFI does do that. And you're able to use technology with fabrics in order to get better fire protection and still be lighter. So at that point in time, I knew that I had to stay SFI certified with everything we use, even down to the thread. When you get something certified, if this shirt was a certified shirt, the thread would be certified, the buttons would be certified. Every piece that goes into that shirt
because it's
would have to be
the weakest link is what's on. Yeah,
exactly. So SFI, I work closely with them on all of our garments and everything we use, whether it be an HPDE shirt, which we have a line that's specifically geared toward HPDE because not everybody's going to wear a suit, and we know that.
Mm-hmm.
But why not have something that they can put on that's light and airy and feels good, wicks moisture, and is antimicrobial that they can put on, and it feel like a T-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Feel even better than a T-shirt.
It still has the fire.
And
it still has that
has a
aspect.
safety
The
benefit.
TPP has a safety benefit.
It does. It's not something that's going to catch on fire on your body, and that's the key. And that's another thing about it being under the suit. I mean, why would you want to have all this protection and then all of a sudden introduce something that's flammable or meltable under the suit?
Under the suit.
Take it to a little bit more of a degree and be safer, but you don't have to compromise the comfort in order to do that.
Let's shift gears a little bit because I'm sure folks that are watching are zeroing in on this suit here. Now, this is a pretty famous suit. Tell them how this suit changed or could have changed someone's life.
Well, this is the suit from Charles Espinlave, I believe it was in 2009 when he had the fire at Thunder Hill. And Charles is quite famous. He's a pro driver and a really, really nice guy. We're very fortunate to be able to have this suit. But he was in the car, exceeding 100 miles an hour, car catches on fire, he gets it pulled over, thinks everything is under control, and boom, the explosion happens. A lot of you guys may know this story. Once the explosion happens, there's fuel involved, there's fuel in the suit, and it just really, really torched the suit. The suit is actually black. It looks like a camouflage the way it is.
How many seconds of exposure is this?
Charles can get out of the car in 5 seconds.
Wow.
So it doesn't really know how many seconds were involved, but it didn't take a lot. And that's another important point. That's a really good point. We have, a lot of people say suits give you 30 seconds and underwear gives you another 6. And nobody knows that for sure. All of that is subjective to your environment. If you're going down the straight at 100 miles an hour, you got fire blowing on you, that changes everything dramatically. And so you want to be as safe as you possibly can be and be comfortable.
Right.
But we never know that exact time that we have, no matter what kind of suit we're wearing. The higher the TPP value you have, the more protection you're going to have as far as heat transfer goes. But one of the most interesting things that I saw, and I met Charles many years ago, was really the worst burns that he had were on his hands, the back of his hands. And here's his gloves, and especially on his right hand, there are no holes in his glove at all, but he still sustained the burns on his hand.
Because the heat transfer.
The heat transfer got to his hands, and he had some pretty bad burns. And the significance of that goes back to the polyesters and things up under your suit. You don't have to have fire, open flame, to melt polyester under your suit. You can have heat transfer through the suit and melt your polyester to your body, which has to be surgically removed. So that was a real eye-opener for me, especially the guys walking around with the polyester and stuff on these days.
You're well versed in safety gear, you know ratings, and Alan, you've been around people that wear safety suits. You wear a safety suit obviously yourself when you race. What are some of the things that you've seen in the paddock or on track where people aren't properly caring for their safety gear that might actually compromise the level of safety that the gear can perform in the event of an accident?
Well, the biggest thing I see is people wearing their suits to work on their car, getting it in oil, compromising the safety aspect of the very suit that's going to protect them. You turn a Nomex suit, which is highly protective, into something that's actually flammable. That's probably the biggest thing. And then,
Yeah.
just operating and allowing contaminants to get into the suit.
I think for me, I think most people generally look to the organizers of the race, the people doing the tech inspection. You have to bring your gear up to have it. I think they look to somebody else to make sure their stuff is in good condition.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I was at a race this past week, and I was racing, and the inspector said, "Let me see your gloves," and he started showing me how some of the guy who just went through before me wore a big fat ring on one finger, and there was a hole coming through one of the fingers of the glove, and he. So I think we as racers, we tend to, like everything else, we tend to look after the car, worry about how we're doing, and not, be boresighted on keeping our equipment our personal protection equipment in tip-top shape.
This certainly is not a video to push you into doing anything that you don't want. It's really to explain to you that there's a technology out there, that there's a lot of wins for what I consider a nominal price when you're considering going to do an HPDE or club racing. So first off, to you, Roger, thank you for being interested in safety and trying to go out there and find a solution for the driver to make them more comfortable but have the added benefit of safety. Alan, thank you for having the foresight of taking PCA HPDE driving to the next level with club racing. I know there's a lot of people out there watching. They owe a lot of thanks to you. And so with that, we will share with you that you'll notice the Pirelli logo on the side of Alan's shirt. Pirelli has supported PCA on a number of fronts, but more specifically to this, they are sponsoring the HPDE instructors, they are sponsoring the drivers, as well as the autocross program. And club racers can take advantage of this program as well, as we're going to be offering a selection of track gear products in the PCA web store at a great price, and it's going to be partially subsidized by Pirelli. And so for one, get out there, have fun, be safe, be comfortable, and have a great season.